Thank you very much. And so we move on to the first session, first substantial session, and therefore may I request those experts who are supposed to make presentation to come forward, perhaps. But anyway, the first presentation will be made by Daren. And his presentation will be creating adaptive policies, a guide for policy making in an uncertain world. Perhaps all of you know him very well, but this is a very brief summary of his career. Darren is director of IISD's measurement and assessment program now, and he is a professional engineer and a strategic management consultant with 19 years of experience in the public and private sectors. Mr. Swanson assists governments and corporations around the world in the collective pursuit of sustainability, accountability, and adaptability. His core areas of expertise include sustainability strategies, scenario planning and strategic foresight, indicator information systems, integrated assessment method, and adaptive policy making approaches. He's a lead editor and author of IISD's recent book entitled Creating Adaptive Policies, a guide for policy making in an uncertain world, and was co-editor and co-author of the United Nations program training manual on integrated environmental assessment and reporting. Darren obtained Bachelor of Civil Engineering and Master of Geoenvironmental Engineering from University of Saskatchewan, and he also obtained Master of Public Administration in the International Development from Harvard University. So, Darren, your time to make a presentation.
Thank you, Morrison. Well, thank you very much, Morrison. Can everybody hear me fine? Very good. Again, on the web participants, I'm looking forward to sharing with you a discussion about creating adaptive policies. To start off the discussion about adaptive governance, this important discussion about adaptive governance in terms of our experiences, global experiences, I guess, in the complexity of implementing sustainable development, the intricacies of socioeconomic and ecological relationships that have forced us to sort of maybe rethink a bit about how we plan for the future. This work is a strong collaboration with the Energy and Resources Institute in New Delhi, and my colleague Srijan Nair, who is here from Terry. You will meet her in a little while in terms of chairing the panel session that will come shortly on adaptive governance, and also we will be talking in more detail on this particular concept, as Peter had mentioned on the third day in terms of the full day workshop, where we'll get into the details. And this is meant as a shallow dive into the concepts and thinking around adaptive policy making. I think this first slide sets up a bit of the challenge and the picture that we're facing. Some work done in India and also in Nepal by Marcus Munch said this: when situations are characterized by uncertainty, variability, and change, conventional planning scenarios provide little guidance regarding future needs and conditions. This was experiences in the water resources management sectors, and is a symptom of the challenges that people are experiencing in different sectors on how to plan for the future when things are changing quickly, when there's surprises that are continually confronting us. How can we retool ourselves to plan better in that type of an environment? And that is a critical question here, I think, as we look forward to the path, I guess, in Rio plus the 20 discussions. This is a complicated system. The car engine, lots of parts, lots of connections, lots of different things going on. But it is a complicated system. It's not that unpredictable. In fact, it works quite predictably. We know how the parts interrelate. We know if one part breaks down, what typically happens and how to fix it. So although this looks complex, it's merely complicated. This is complex. Put the automobile in the context of a large city full of people. Put the city in the context of a river system. And think about then how the intricacies of perhaps how an automobile fosters new freedom of youth and mobility of youth when they reach driving age. The connections with that freedom, the benefits, but then also some of the negatives that come along with the automobile in terms of mortality rates, other complexities that evolve around the emissions of carbon dioxide from the cars that have led to a global issue that we're dealing with on climate change. So start with a complicated automobile and then put it into a setting filled with people that behave unpredictably and ecosystems that interrelate and behave unpredictably, and we have a very complex and adaptive system. And it's this type of a system that we strive to understand better if we want to plan more effectively in the future. And this is what we are all grappling with in different settings and in different sectors. In fact, there are a number of sectors that are really studying more closely how their interventions are really within the setting of a complex adaptive system. We have the business literature, management sciences, and also organizational learning sciences are looking at systems thinking to better understand the levers of change and effective organizational development. We have the information technology sector studying complex adaptive systems. This is particularly happening in the United States, where the emergence of the web has created a whole new set of dynamics that no one could have really anticipated or predicted a number of years ago, and all sorts of opportunities and challenges that presents. They are looking at understanding the world from a more interrelated perspective. We have forest management sectors that are dealing with similar aspects of understanding complex systems. Healthcare, particularly in the United States, is really looking at trying to see health in cities and urban centers as complex systems, and what are the levers of change that we can learn from seeing that in a different light. International development literature and also ecosystem management literature, of course, the work of Buzz Halling in adaptive management being among that group. That's just to sort of the backdrop of how every sector is really now experiencing different ways to see how the world in which they are trying to affect improvement actually operates in reality, and now adjusting the way we think and plan in that regard. So the challenges that those systems present are really that experience, that policies and plans that are crafted to operate in conditions that have a wide range of conditions are often faced with challenges that are much outside the range in which they were originally conceived. And that is the challenge inherent. The cascading risk and uncertainty in the performance of the policies and plans is really put into sort of challenged state in that particular environment. The result is that there are many unintended impacts of the things that we plan and develop in terms of policy and plans, and sometimes many and often cases we don't accomplish our goals because of the complexity behind the system, and or policy and plans simply just get in the way of progress sometimes because it is not properly built to fit into such a dynamic setting. there are many examples around the world of policies and plans that have struggled with this type and have actually had some unintended consequences. And